What's going on, guys? I'm John over at Go Fast Campers, and today we're going to be talking about the Superlite. The first step we're going to talk about is whether or not the Superlite is actually going to work on your OEM crossbars, and then what to do if it doesn't work. So let's get into it. All right, guys, we're going to go over the hardware packet included in your Superlite. It's going to come with your T-nuts. It's going to come with your mounting straps. It's going to come with some washers, some 1/2-inch hex head bolts, a supplied baggie of Loctite, and then it's not going to come with a 1/2-inch wrench, but you're going to need a 1/2-inch box wrench. And then also today we're going to talk about the best use case for your offset brackets and whether or not your rack is going to need these. We're going to pre-assemble our mounting strap for the Superlite. Pretty simple. You're going to run your bolt through one side with a washer in between it right here, and then you're going to throw your T-nut on the end. If you notice, the strap actually has a curve to it. So it's curved on one side and flat on the other. When you're mounting it, you're going to want to make sure the hex head is mounted to the flat side to give it the best contact point. We're going to move over to the vehicle and we're going to see if this is actually going to work. We have our pre-assembled strap, and right now I'm going to show you how it's supposed to mount into the extrusion. So we're going to take the two nuts and bolts like that, and we're going to gently lift them into the extrusion. Giving them a quarter turn is going to lock those T-nuts in place, and then from there you can tighten these up around your bar. And right now we're actually going to show you, or at least attempt to tighten this around this factory bar. The bar is resting just about here going across the vehicle. As you notice, we have this big tower in the way. We don't have a lot of clearance, so I'm not confident this is going to work, but we're going to try. So sliding these in here, you're going to want to try to get them into the T-track, but you notice immediately I run out of room, and that's probably going to happen with most OEM crossbars that come with your vehicle. So in this case, the best option for us is to just install aftermarket racks to get this to work. So that's what we're going to do next. So we got the aftermarket rack system onto the Land Cruiser, and just to kind of give you an idea what we're working with, you can see how much more room I actually have to get my hands in here, to get a tool in here, to get the straps in here. You're not trying to squeeze it to the bottom anymore. So we highly recommend these, and for a lot of people it's going to be a necessity. So moving forward, I'm actually going to show you how to throw these on, get it tight, so you can start using your Superlite. Like I went over earlier, we got the whole assembly done for the strap. I like to come in from the front, tilt them up, slide it into the extrusion, give it a quarter turn on both sides. It can be a little tricky, and then boom, you have that resting in there. And now the easy part comes, you just tighten them on. We have the aftermarket rack mounted to the car now, and you can just visually see I have so much more room to get my hand in here, to get a tool in here, to get the straps in here. So we're gonna go over on how to actually mount these straps and get it all tightened up. So I like to start coming in from the end. If you can get your hand in there, rotate the strap upward, slide the T-nuts into the extrusion. Give them a good quarter turn, get those T-nuts seated, and once they're seated, it's just gonna kind of free hang like that. And then once it's free hanging, all you gotta do is take your 1/2-inch box wrench and start tightening down on those. Sometimes it helps to put downward pressure on the strap, pulling down to make sure those T-nuts don't come unrotated. So with my left hand, I'm pulling down on the strap, and with my right hand, I'm just tightening that bolt. All right, guys, a good little tip and trick to get this to go on a little smoother for you is I like to take with my right hand, I'll pull down on the silver strap, putting downward pressure, and then with my right hand, I'll start tightening it. That helps keep that T-nut seated in there so it doesn't rotate out of the extrusion. And you want to kind of work both sides. Once you get that side a little tightened, you're going to move to the other side, get that one tightened down, and just work them back and forth until the whole strap is tight. And if you guys notice, there's a little bit of bowing and flex within this strap. That's normal. So if you just see a little bit of that, don't freak out. That means you're probably tight enough at that point. So just for example's sake, we have moved this tent over slightly. So now that the extrusion track is resting exactly on top of your towers, we're doing this to show you how to properly use and install the offset brackets. Some of your racks might work perfectly where you can get a strap around it, but if on more narrow vehicles like Subaru Outbacks and smaller sedans and stuff like that, there's a high likelihood that your extrusion is going to rest on top of the towers, and that's when you're going to need to use your offset brackets. So we're going to show you how to do that right now. All right guys, we have one of the offset brackets right here. I'm going to show you how to set it up, put it on your vehicle. First step, you're going to feed one of the provided screws into the corner holes with a washer, a T-nut, and a dab of Loctite on both. And then on the opposite side, facing down, you're going to feed 2 of your bolts with a washer and also Loctite. And this is the setup on how to get it into the extrusion for the offset bracket. All right guys, we have the offset bracket assembled, and now we're going to install it on the vehicle. So what I like to do is I like to lift up on the tent, place the offset bracket onto the rack, rotate the T-nuts parallel, and then set the extrusion right into those T-nuts. And once they fall in place, hard part's over. You're just gonna tighten these up with a 1/4 Allen. I like to do it by hand first. So get those all tightened up, and I'm gonna go grab a strap, and the strap is going to attach to these bolts right here. All right guys, I'm gonna tighten up these real quick. Just make sure they're nice and snug on there. And remember to always dab Loctite on those. Next step is to install your strap. This is where it gets a little tricky. So we're going to place the strap onto the bolts. And then you have to feed your 1/2 inch nylock nut onto the end of those. All right, you're gonna feed 1 nut onto the end, so it's just dangling. Then you're gonna repeat that process on the other side. All right, we got both of the nuts on there. And now the next step is you have to take a box wrench and hold it up here, and then another one down here, and you gotta tighten the both of them. As you see, we have it properly mounted up. Everything's tight. Now you're going to repeat this process on all 4 sides, just ensuring that you use Loctite on all the hardware. Thanks for watching our Superlite video on how to install on aftermarket crossbars and also the best case use scenario for your offset brackets. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to shoot us an email at support@gfcengineering.com. Thank you. What's going on guys? I'm John over at Go Fast Campers, so let's get into it. All right guys, all right guys, all right guys, all right guys, all right guys. Sweet. All right. All right guys, a good little tip and trick. All right guys, all right guys, all right guys, all right guys. I'm gonna tighten up these real quick. All right guys, all right, we got both of the nuts on there. All right guys, thanks for watching our Superlite video.